Hello class, good morning. How are you doing today? Hope that you are fine and staying healthy in your ways. Today we're going to continue our lessons on Unit 5, which we started on last week. Last week we talked about shadows and how we create shadows with different light sources. Today we're going to do section 5.3 entitled Silhouette. Do you know what a silhouette is? Can you take a quick guess without looking at the board? Well, what about now? Do you know what a silhouette is? Can you see any silhouette on this board? Again, I will post this picture up for you so you can have a better viewing of these pictures. We will go on to further discussion about a silhouette, but first I want you to take out your book and turn to page 70 and 71. First, page 70. I got mine marked. Page 70 of my book entitled Silhouette and Shadow Puppets. We're going to discuss about silhouettes, and we're also going to discuss about shadow puppets. Have you ever went to see a play where they have puppet shows controlled by men? Like a little box and have little strings and silhouettes? You probably might not understand it, but after the lesson, you will understand what a shadow puppet is or a shadow show is. Okay, now let's go on to our first part of the book. But before we go on, I listed few words here that you should know and words that we are going to learn throughout this course. The words are silhouette, project, not project, but project, shadow puppet, and puppet master. Okay, for our reading, as you can see some of the pictures in the book and also the pictures I got here, these animals here are silhouettes of an object or silhouette of a picture. Silhouettes are, can you finish my sentence in our Telegram post? Silhouette are what? Can you write that down in our Telegram post and tell me what silhouette is? I'll give you a few seconds. Okay, if you say silhouette are an object which is blackened out or whitened out so you can see the pictures of it, you are correct. I got some examples here. This is a silhouette of a palm tree and some chairs that people are sitting down probably by a beach. And this is a silhouette of a tree and of a picture of some giraffe and all kind of animals. So a silhouette is a black image or a shadow forecasting something back. So this is a silhouette. As you can see in this picture right here in the top of their finger, people have their hand projected as a bird, but you can see the silhouette when light is reflecting off it and casting the shadow to the backside. So the pictures on the back is a silhouette of the hand. A silhouette means almost like a shadow that's casting to the back, but it's either all in black colors or all in white or all in different colors. So a silhouette has to be in one solid colors. It cannot be in many different colors. Okay, now the word project. You can also pronounce this project, but when you say a project, it is a noun. A noun means a person, place, or thing. So if you have a project to do, that means you have something that is assigned to you. But what we are talking today is project. We are talking about the verb, not the noun project, but we are talking project. So these words have two meanings, and you can pronounce it two different ways. A project and project. What we are learning is the verb, so that is project. So what does project mean? Can you tell me? Can you send something on our post, our Telegram post, explaining how can you project something to me or for me? Okay, I'm waiting. If you say project means to forecast or to estimate something, you are correct. I project that you will have an A in your science class today. All your work will be correct. That is my projection. So that's my forecast. That's my prediction. I project that you will understand the word silhouette after our lessons today. That is my forecast. That's how I project what you will learn today. So if you have further questions about the word project and project, we will communicate on Zoom and through Telegram to have more discussions on this word. And a shadow puppet. and puppet master. We will learn shadow puppets and puppet master more on our second video because we will go too in depth. But can you see this picture here? I will post it up on our board. This is a puppet show where light is being projected. So you see light source is being projected from the front, and as this kid is holding a bat and they project an image to the back. But a puppet show or a shadow puppet is to have image. We have cartoons and people tell stories about the past life. Just like example for this show. It is in a show and people are telling stories about these happy cows. But usually a shadow puppet was invented by a Chinese man a long time ago, where they have shows on sticks and people holding the sticks. Puppet master will hold the sticks in the show like a little toy, and it tells stories. That's what you call a puppet master, where people control images on a stick, as you can see here, and it's someone else telling storylines about a history of an event, or it's just a story for say. That is what you call a puppet show. And the puppet master is the one who controls the image. Just like this kid, he's holding the bat. He is the puppet master, so he controls how the bat flies or what the bat do, and how the cow move. And someone might be holding the cow, and someone else might be telling the story of the cow. So that is the puppet master, the one who controls the masters. Okay, once you have learned these words and learn what a silhouette is, we will go into our first task. But before you go into the first task, I would like to read just a little article for you so you have a little more understanding about a silhouette and how you project a silhouette. I will read only the first paragraph for you. Want to read with me? Okay. An opaque object, which we learned about last week, held between a light source and a screen gives you a shadow on a screen. For example, the shadow of the object is called silhouette. Silhouette. So the shadow of any object is called a silhouette, which is the black image. Try making a silhouette of a butterfly with your hands. You will need a light source and a screen. Can you do that? See, this person is making a silhouette of a bird with his hand and a light source. So can you make a silhouette inside the room right now with a light source projected to a wall? The word projected is casting onto a wall. You can do that. Okay, on to our first task. The first task is in your learner's book on page 71. And on page 71 is a project. Now we come to the noun. It's a project for you to do. I want you to write a story on your puppet shows. See, like the example, the pictures here. You can make it from your hand or cut up an object. And once you do your experiment, do your project on your puppet show, you can write about it. And there's 4 questions about your project that you're going to do. The first question I want you to do is draw a silhouette of a cat. But for this task, you do not have to draw a cat. It could be any image you want to draw, okay? It could be a car, a motorcycle, a dog, or a picture of you, a silhouette of yourself. And then they want you to make a light source and project your image. Then they want you to, number 3, explain why you could not use a clear plastic paper to make a puppet show. Okay, this goes into with last week's lesson. Why you cannot project an image with a translucent or a transparent paper? Why does your paper have to be opaque, which we learned about last week? Opaque means something solid and dark that light cannot shine through. Transparent means that light can see through, just like your window. Your window in your house, your car, are transparent window, transparent glass, so light can shine through. Okay, you will be given 30 minutes to complete the first task and answer this question. After you complete it, you can post it up on our Telegram post for all of your students to see your science experiment, your science project on how your light project to a wall. You see the difference between project and project? If you have any further questions on any of these words or any lesson, please join me in Zoom so we can discuss about this, or we can discuss it on Telegram if you don't have Zoom. Till our second video, Bye, class. Hello, class. Welcome back to our second video of our episode. As the first video, we talked about silhouette and what silhouette is. And our first video, I also told you that I'm going to discuss more about shadow puppets and puppet master on this video. So can you please turn out your book to page 70? And page 70 in the bottom, the last paragraph, it will talk about a shadow puppets and a puppet master. I would like to read this paragraph with you. Can you read it with me? Okay, the last one, okay? Shadow puppets. A shadow puppet uses a silhouette to represent a puppet. Then uses a silhouette, a shadow of an image. Long ago, people recorded their history by telling stories. This was before writing was invented. In ancient China and Indonesia, storytellers used shadow puppets to help tell stories. Each village storyteller was known as a puppet master. When he puts on a show, the whole village would watch. He used his hand, even his feet, to make the puppet move. He also added noise effect to project the shadows on the screen. He hung a bowl of fire above his head. So, how does the old ancient puppet master use to project a show or to project an image? As you can see here, before a long time ago, they used puppet shows to tell stories because they do not write back then, or they didn't have no recording device. So they have a puppet show like this, where people around the village can gather around and people can the puppet master can create a show and tell stories. But where does the light source come from? Let me ask you. How does the puppet master create a light source that can project an image in a dark spot without having no sun coming through? Can you answer me that? As you can see in this reading, the old puppet master have a bowl of fire or a bowl of charcoal on his head. So while he's playing this puppet master, his light source comes from a fire which he placed in a bowl of fire which he placed on his head. That's very clever of him. How he can use that fire to project a light source so it can create a shadow. That's very clever of him. So that is a little history about puppet masters and shadow puppets, how it was created by ancient Chinese and ancient Indonesians to tell stories. Very interesting. So on your first test, did you do your exercise? Did you do your project about telling stories on your image? If so, you haven't done so, please, I'm still waiting for your task so I can correct it and read about it. Okay, now on to our second task. Your second task is in your workbook on page 41. Can you turn it there? And on page 41 talks about a story about Itina di Silhouette. Have you ever heard of her? Probably not. But Itina di Silhouette is a French woman a long time ago. And the name Silhouette came from her name. This was her name, Itina di Silhouette. But the French pronunciation might be a little different. But on page 41 tells a story about why the word silhouette came about and why they used her name to mark as a silhouette. And on page 41 also have 3 questions talking about the history of Itina di Silhouette. And you will find it interesting how they use her name for the word silhouette and how modern day world now explain and why we took her name as a silhouette. You will be given 30 minutes to complete this task. And I hope you read this article and find it very interesting and we can discuss more about this famous person. Okay, till our next video. Goodbye, class. Hello, welcome back to our last video for today's lessons. Before I continue on with your homework, I would like to do a little review with you. Today we talk about silhouette. As you have to understand, silhouette is a shadow casting behind an object. For instance here, you see in this picture, this person is putting their hand in, you can see the shadow casting backward. That shadow is a silhouette of his or her hand which projected a picture of a bird. This is also some pictures of silhouettes that I posted up here. Silhouettes of many different kinds of animals, and a silhouette of palm trees and a little chair, someone sitting by the beach. So I know throughout our lessons you have all understand what a silhouette is, even know who is Echuca the Silhouette, the famous person that silhouette was taken from. Glad that you learned that. Okay, also through here we learned about, on our second video, we talked about a shadow puppet and a puppet master, like I have the picture here. And what was the purpose of the shadow puppets, what was the purpose of the play, and how the puppet master makes the light sources, and how he or she uses his hand and feet to sometimes perform a play. So that's interesting. Usually it's done in the old days, like in ancient China or Malaysia, where they can project and tell stories with crowds of people. And we also learn through our investigation how to create a light source so we can project this image or this silhouette from a play, from a dark place. As you can see through our lessons, they often put like a ball of fire on top of their head to use as a light source so they can project a silhouette to a play, just example like here. And thank you for our discussions in Zoom, so for better learning and better understanding of today's lessons. Now on to our homework. Your homework is in your Skill Builders book on page 48 and 49. Can you please take out your book and turn to that page? I got mine marked. On page 48 and 49 entails how a shadow puppet works. As you can see on the picture here, Harris and Henry is making a dragon play. And what do Harry and Henry use for a light source? And how does they project the dragon play? You can read a little discussion here, and you can also review our first and second video to find out more information about that. And once you've reviewed and read the articles on page 48, I want you to answer the questions on page 48 and 49 about how to create a puppet show, how to make a shadow puppet works. You will be given 1 week to complete this task. And after you complete this task, please send it to my personal Telegram so I can correct it and give you feedback on your work. Thank you, class. Until we meet again next week, be safe, stay healthy. Goodbye.